Action!
Hello, hello.
Hey, everyone, welcome. We are in a live stream for Farmcraft Land Demand. My name is Claire LeBeau. I'm Chief Advancement Officer at NASEF, the Network of Academic and Scholastic Esports Federations. It is our privilege and honor to bring you the Farmcraft program and to work with all of these fantastic humans that are here on this live stream with us. We have a great lineup from the developers of the program and the educational materials and the experts at Cleverlike to a teacher and some students in the state of Georgia who have implemented Farmcraft and learned so much from it, to John Wogman, who runs a program specifically for youth, teaching youth around the world about agriculture. So I feel like I just almost accidentally did everyone's introductions. You might just have to smile and wave and say your name, but let's do some quick round robin of introductions, and we'll just do a little clockwise. So Carrie, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. So I am an Ag STEM teacher in Snellville, Georgia, and I'm here with two of my amazing students who have also participated in Farmcraft challenges and also helped to create a regional Georgia Farmcraft challenge.
Excellent. And Eric.
I was going to say you changed the order. I was like, I don't know which way the clockwise is anymore.
Right.
So hi, I'm Eric Leitner, go by River. I'm on the Cleverlike team. I'm the education content producer, and we've been working on Farmcraft for 5 years. And prior to that, I was a science, STEM, and computer science educator for 13 years and a STEM and computer science instructional facilitator for 7 years for Broward County Public Schools in South Florida. And now I'm in Denver playing Minecraft for a living. So, could be worse.
Life takes its twists and turns, and it turned nicely for you, didn't it?
I'm not complaining.
Exactly. All right. And John.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Wogman. I work at the World Food Prize Foundation, and my role here is really to engage youth, high school students, and secondary students in the U.S. and around the world in efforts to make meaningful change in regards to agriculture and food security. So very excited to be here and talk about Farmcraft, which is just such a great educational tool.
Great.
And lastly, hey everybody, I'm Brian Dickman, founder, CEO of Cleverlike Studios. We're the builders of the Farmcraft game in Minecraft. We, specialize in taking all the love that students have for video games and sneaking in the vegetables, whether it be, literally like with Farmcraft or figuratively by, helping them achieve better outcomes in their futures through, positive experiences through gaming.
Excellent. So actually, before we go any further with our, we're going to share some submissions from last week, but Brian mentioned using Minecraft to, quote, sneak in the vegetables. And Carrie, I know that this is something that sometimes teachers are a little bit nervous about if they haven't used Minecraft before or they haven't taught with it. And I happen to know that that is your background and that you had great success. So can you tell us a little bit about how you made that happen?
Oh, absolutely. First, I want to express that I've definitely not, I was not comfortable with Minecraft at all. So I want to make sure that that is not something that holds back a teacher from trying something new. What I simply did was call in the experts, and also thankful to have Nakariana and Layla with me. So when I was first getting started, they actually taught me how to use it. We did a practice round together, and before I even introduced it to the whole class. And then, honestly, they still knew more than I did as the class as a whole. But it was really neat to watch some students that were disengaged, how they really perked up. And I was able to teach them some of the science concepts behind the regenerative agriculture and such. And it was because of their help. But, just don't be afraid to try something new. They'll work with you and help you get started. Your students will. And they loved it.
Awesome.
And I'd love to hear that, because that's been our messaging forever, is for every educator who comes to a professional development or has something new hands-on, especially in that gaming environment, is, you may not be the expert, but you've got a classroom full of experts. So,
100%.
trust them, to lead and give them the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And we found that with every group, there was at least one person that knew how to do it. And so we had the, people with the creative side, then others with the research side. And so it was really a collaborative experience for them. And the people who maybe aren't always the leaders in the class had the opportunity to shine. So it was just neat to watch.
That's awesome. Nikariana and Layla, tell us a little bit about your experience with Farmcraft and what do you think of the program overall?
I really enjoyed it. It gave me another way to look at gave another way to learn something. Like you're used to seeing something like on a screen or on your laptop, and that's about it. Maybe you write it down, maybe you go on a slideshow. But this gave me another way to look at it and view it in like a physical 3D form, and it really helped me like understand the concepts better.
What I really liked about it is because in Minecraft, there's not always something to like represent what you're trying to represent. Like drip irrigation, you have to like kind of get creative with how you're going to represent that. Like I think iron bars or something like that. Then like you have to label it. So just like you had to like research what the thing looked like, how it's used, and then how to replicate that within like a game. So that was really fun.
Yeah, it's a 3D makerspace. Like how cool.
It is. And that's, again, that comes back to like we sit people down for the first time at Minecraft and they're like, I'm going to decorate my house. And they start typing into the search bar like chair. And then there's no chair. And they're like, okay, what do I do for a chair?
Yeah. Excellent. Good. John, last year at your conference at the World Food Prize Foundation, we set up Farmcraft and we had groups of students from around the world circle through and they got to play the game and they came in knowing nothing about it. And then can you describe a little bit about the experience that you saw them have?
Yeah. So at our conference, we had, 175 students from, 25 US states and then eight to 10 countries from around the world. And we grouped students together and had them, make decisions together. And they got really active and involved. They got really annoyed when the caterpillars started eating their crops. But it was an incredibly fun experience for the students. I think what really worked well is it matched the style of fun and learning, which allowed students to apply some of that decision making and those trade-offs that are built into the game into a really quick pace of engagement. So it was really a tremendous experience. It was great to see all the laughter that students had as they're engaging. I think they were in like groups of 3 to 4. But just really tremendous way of applying learning in a really effective manner.
Yeah, it is good to hear that laughter in the middle of learning, isn't it? Yeah. All right. So speaking of learning, we had rolled out challenge number 1 for Farmcraft last stream, which was about 2 weeks ago. And so we are going to share with you one of the submissions that we received. So Eric, do you want to tell us a little bit about this and we will then watch the video?
Yeah, we could do that. So challenge 1 was the what and why of crops. And the goal of challenge 1 was really to kind of explore what crops were local to your area. We're going to talk about that in a little bit because the submission we got definitely challenged our mindset on that one. And as well as in another way, which was the next part, which is how are those crops utilized? Like what are they grown for? Which is not a question we've ever actually asked until this season, which is kind of the focus of this season. So I do want to share a submission, and both of those parts, both the what it grows in your area, and I'm emphasizing the your area part, and what are they used for, this one particular submission challenged both of those. And what I also love to see in there, and you'll see it in a minute, was something that the students that are joining us mentioned, is there are things that you have to represent differently in Minecraft when you're building just in sort of vanilla Minecraft. And so you'll see there's definitely a focus on one particular crop, and that's a crop that doesn't grow in Minecraft. It doesn't exist in Minecraft, so they had to make it. So you'll see that in just a moment.
Oh, a little teaser. All right, let's check it out.
Howdy, judges. This in here be the East Tech Build Tech Submission Build from the Barstow High School for Challenge 1. Up first, we have corn, mainly grown in Iowa and Illinois. They get planted in the spring and harvested in the summer. Corn is easy to grow. All it needs is basic plant care, good soil, water, and sunlight. To produce ears, the tassels from the main plant pollinate the female silks by having the wind carry their pollen. Corn is grown for human food, livestock feed, and industrial products, including fuel, like ethanol, sweeteners like high fructose corn syrup, oils, starches, and bioplastics. To recreate corn, I used bamboo and bamboo fences. I decided on a more wild, less uniform farm for corn to help fill in the build, making it look more full and busy like a farm. And right next to our cornfield is our flower field, filled with California poppies. Based on the Antelope Valley's poppy field, these flowers are at full bloom in late spring. To grow some of your own, just lay some seeds where the sun can see them, then give them some basic water and soil treatments, and you'll have some beautiful poppies. Besides being pretty, these flowers also have some medicinal values. As relaxants, you can find these poppies in stress relief, pain relief, sleep aid, antispasmodic, and opiate withdrawal medications. To recreate California poppies, I use dandelions, orange tulips, and torch flowers since they're orange. And as most flower fields, they aren't perfectly uniform, giving the same effects as the corn in, filling out the back half of my team's build. Did you know California produces 80% of the world's almond supply? See, they start from little saplings and grow faster than most trees, producing seeds in 3 to 4 years, compared to most at 10 plus years. Almonds are harvested in late summer and early fall, making them the perfect ingredient in any culinary delight. And actually, almonds' main use is to be eaten, being made into many things like milk, butter, flour, and extracts, or used whole for snacks, salads, and desserts. They also have a few uses in cosmetics, being made into oils or face scrubs. In every reference photo I used, I saw perfect rows of perfect trees, with the only thing being wild is the leaves. So to replicate this, I perfectly spaced each tree 3 blocks apart, but let them grow in their own way. For our last but not least seen crop, we have cacti. Here we see them in a greenhouse and in a garden, but normally they're found in Mexico and other places in the south. Cacti are used for food, decorative plants, and traditional and modern medicines, including skincare and the potential treatment of type 2 diabetes. Their fruit and pads provide essential nutrients, and extracts from certain cacti have anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties for skin health. I use the actual cactus block a lot, either in or out of pots, but I also mix in some bamboo and ferns, as they somewhat look like skinny or short and round cacti. I built 2 greenhouses, as certain species cannot handle harsh weather or cold. Barns are usually used for animals, but seeing how this is an animalless farm, I'm going to use it to carry all the tools you need to harvest and take care of corn, flowers, almonds, and cacti. Silos are just another form of storage, but more for grain, and in this case corn. And since we have a rather big field, I decided to build 2. For that last building, it's a farmhouse. Somebody has to take care of the farm, and usually that person lives on the farm, so I built a house. Simple, built to add story, and just a little bit more realism to my build. I'll be thanking you, judges, for your time and attention. I'll be hoping y'all have a great day and enjoyed my team's hard work and effort.
Wow.
Yeah, this is like a perfectly organized and well put together video, right? Like, you know, we could see clearly everything. Their dialogue was well scripted. They introduced some comedic elements, and they addressed things that we didn't even touch.
Exactly. That is so.
I want to ask everyone who watched it, like, what did you catch in there, right? We always we've been talking this whole season's going to be about like food, clothing, shelter for the use of our crops. What did you catch in there that had nothing to do with those 3? Because there were a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask the students first. What did you catch, Nakariana and Layla?
Well, I know like he definitely like talked about the greenhouse, which while that does have a lot to do with food, he was also talking about like how like the different ways you can use it, and then also
I know he talked a lot about not a lot, but like he talked about the silos that he built that helped store his corn, and he talked about the medicinal uses of like the flowers, and it's just some of the cacti. He talked about what is it called? A medicine that's not yet developed for type 2 diabetes for the cacti, which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm. I thought the structure itself of that greenhouse was really impressive.
Yeah, better than I could do.
Wow.
That's saying a lot. Yeah, the way that they focused on you could tell each team member had a specific thing that they researched and then built. I liked being able to see that combination of individual work plus the collaboration when they brought it all together. And then just as you said, I think it was Nakariana was talking about, or it was Layla, the medicinal properties. That was something that wasn't even part of the challenge, but to recognize that these plants have such a variety of applications was really interesting, really well thought out.
Yeah, I'll throw out another one. When they were mentioning the uses for corn, they also mentioned biofuel, which is something you can use if the lights go out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. Food, fibers, and fuels. There we go.
Great. John, anything that stood out to you in that video?
Yeah, a couple things. So yeah, I thought they did a great job with their research and then applying like the more holistic approaches to how we use different crops. Certainly, I thought that the intention and design of how they built out their space, and even like thinking about like what are the optimal conditions for growing plants. And then, I mean, I loved that how they, threw in a little bit of whimsy and fun by having a scarecrow there as well, amongst their cactus patch, which was kind of a fun element. So, yeah, really great usage of what they found on through the research, and then really being able to think through all the different ways that we use food, and fiber, and certainly fuel as well.
Cleve, you have anything to add?
I mean, it was great. I think that the production quality was nice too. I think the voiceover was pretty clearly recorded, and the titles on the screen and stuff like that. So there's just some elements of polish there that was really nice to see. It shows extra effort, and of course all the other things they did in the contents was awesome. We love to be surprised with things we didn't ask for.
Yeah, definitely. So I would say this is sort of a gold standard of if you're doing a build here. We've just mentioned several things that are objectives for you to do, from the teamwork aspect to the depth of the research, and then the way that it was presented was also fantastic. So congratulations to Team EzTech Build Tech. Really well done. Really well done. So now we are going to move on. We have another build challenge that we are reviewing and releasing today. Eric, you want to tell us all about that?
We're jumping right into that one. Like,
we're jumping into it.
So we know what we're going to talk about this one, right? Like, I'm okay with that. I have no issues. Yeah, let's get the screen up. We'll go from there.
All right. Let's see here. Oopsies.
All right. So obviously at this point, everyone should know that if you want to participate, and by the way, if you're like, oh, but we already missed challenge 1, it's not too late. Remember, you have till the end of the season to get all your challenges completed. So it's not too late. You could still join. So we just head to nasef.org, and here I am at nasef.org. And yes, there is a join now and a join now button, but that is for the NASEF program as a whole. And we encourage you to join that as well. But if you're looking specifically for Farmcraft, just scroll down a bit. And I'm sitting here trying to scroll on your screen share. That's the best part. Just going to scroll down a bit, and here you'll see NASEF Farmcraft. And there's other programs, of course, here as well. But I can just click on my little friend, the cow here. And we're on the Farmcraft page. And here is our register button in case you're still looking to participate, as well as team guide. But you'll see if we scroll down a bit more, we now have 2 challenges up. This is the one that you are either wrapping up or have just wrapped up, or are now saying, oh, we got to go back and get that one done. But you've seen a really good example of it. And now we're here to introduce challenge 2, which is growing into your clothes. Pun intended. So many puns. There's going to be so many puns this season, let's be honest. And by the way, I'm going to partake in some of those crops for medicine because I'm getting over the flu. So herbal tea. Before I read all of this.
Show and tell right here.
Yeah, I brought props. I brought prop comedy and everything. So again, not all farming, as we've learned from this video very specifically as well, is about producing food. It's not all for food. A lot of what we grow is also like where our clothes come from. And that's what we're going to focus on for this one. So it is up to you to not cough into the microphone, but to do the research of figuring out which crops are grown that are used for things like fabrics and textiles that are used to produce those. And yes, there's one that always comes to mind. I won't necessarily name it because I'm sure you'll find it out right away, or you're already thinking about it, but it's not the only one. So do the research, figure out what these crops are that are used for producing clothing, fabrics, textiles, and things like that. And now your job, of course, is to build a farm that specifically, and by the way, if you already have a great farm, we just saw a great farm, you can expand on that farm, but with the focus on this particular skill. or idea or concept. And that's the job, is to do the research and figure out what is grown or what crops do we use specifically to produce the clothing that we need.
Excellent. One of the things that I love, I have a feeling you're going to show us the challenge guide in just a second. Look at that.
Yeah.
English, Spanish, and French available.
Oh, we've come up in the world. This French one was not here last time, was it?
We have, yes.
Okay, I'm going to go into the English one.
All right.
Only because my Spanish is choppy at best and my French is non-existent. So we'll go.
Perfect.
We'll go in here. And here we have our challenge guide. So if you click on the challenge guide, you get a bigger breakdown of not only what that challenge is all about, but if you're an educator and you want sort of the lesson plan format of it, this is all of the steps to follow to go through that, including what standards you've got. So you can see we've got our focus standards, what the objectives of the lesson and the activity are. And I say this as a former educator, there was nothing I loved more than when programs would do this, because that meant I could literally just hit print on my computer and then get my 3-hole punch out, and that went right in my plan book, and I was good to go for the day or the week, even depending on the size of the program. So we ask, of course, we include, and we've done this every season, the KWL chart, and it was really cool to see that from the team who just did that video. But here you'll see everything, including, when to tune in, which if you're watching this, you did it already. What the challenge is, which I kind of was just reading over. Then going from that challenge and saying, let's brainstorm that. What do we know about that already? What do we not know? What do we want to learn more about? And what have we learned now that we've done our research? And then, of course, if you need resources, we're providing some good resources. They are not the only resources, but they are some good resources. And then, of course, let's come back to the challenge. So now that we've done the learning, we've completed our KWL chart, we understand what we want to include in our world, we have planned what we want there, it's time to bring it into the challenge and put it all together. And then, of course, submission, which the submission link is here. You could also find it back on the page with the challenge. So if you see build challenge 2 right here, you'll see the submit challenge link is right here. And it's just make sure that you create your video. Again, that one that we just showed is a really good example. They had very still, clear. We could see what their build was. The camera wasn't shaking all over. The frame rate was good. The audio was good. There were titles on the screen. All of that is great. But when you've got your video ready, post it online or put it into like your OneDrive or your Google Drive, and you'll share the link in that submission form to your video.
And just make sure that we can view it if we're not part of your organization. So if you're putting it in your Google Drive and then you share, make sure that the permissions are set correctly for us to be able to pick it up.
The best way to test that, I always like to share the tip, is if you've got the link that you're going to give us, go to an incognito window in your browser or a private window in your browser and try to open it there. And if it opens, that means we'll be able to see it too. If it asks for a login, we're not going to be able to see it.
Excellent. Good. Well, as always, we have all of the materials right there for you to access and join the new challenge. I think this is an interesting season because we're sort of looking at the entrepreneurial aspects of agriculture, right? There are different, food is obviously very, very important, but there are also different ways that you can use a piece of land. And so how do you see that? How do you see that play out? And how does a farmer make decisions as far as what they'll grow? And I know, Carrie, you and your students are in Georgia, and the video we just watched was from California. So can you give us a couple examples where you are in Georgia? What kind of crops do you see grown other than food?
I mean, of course, got peanuts. What's up? Peaches.
I'm not sure if technically this counts, but I know we grow a type of tree that attracts silkworms.
Mm-hmm. A lot of cotton. We have a lot of cotton as well, as far as the non-edibles. So a lot of that for our fiber.
But I think we can grow a decent amount of tropical, even if they're not like native, because we're in zone 8 now, at least in our area.
Yeah, it's shifting over here. Yeah.
Silkworms are, I'm just having a whole new vision, because here we have been for how long trying to eliminate the caterpillars, but I mean, maybe in this case, they're not a horrible
catch
thing.
them and make them work, make them put them to work for us, making silk.
Next season, we'll have like the strategy of growing different crops that will draw them away from the ones you actually want.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Excellent. So once again, just to remind you all, we do have all the details that you need on the website again, but this challenge is growing into your clothes. And you'll find all the resources that you need at nasef.org/farmcraft. And we want to remind you that if you submit in time, we might feature your video next time around. So if you submit by October 3rd, that'll give us just enough time before we do the next live stream to share your video. So we can't wait to see what you all create. We are always amazed at the ideas you have. And as we said, going above and beyond is, your students, of course, you go above and beyond all the time, but it is really fun to see these different aspects come in. I see Carrie looking and smiling at her students. I know yours definitely go above and beyond, huh? Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. Again, we are looking for your submissions around growing into your clothes. Well done on that pun, Eric. I imagine that came from you. Oh, all right. So
I was muted. I was muted.
Yes.
I was saying that there will be more puns next time. I promise.
Yes, we love our puns. So thank you so much for joining us. To our guests, really good to have you here and to get your perspectives. We'd love to see, John, some of the students who participate in your programming. They are welcome to join as well. And actually, we have a minute. Why don't you just take a second and tell us a little bit about the program that you run and how our students could join that if they are able to.
Great. Yeah, and we'd love for all of your students to be engaged in our programs. So the World Food Prize Foundation promotes the Global Challenge, which is a research paper for high school students to really deepen their understanding of agriculture and food security issues. So it's a really nice complement to Farmcraft and really builds another set of skills. Just by writing the research paper, students develop writing, research, critical thinking skills. Students pick a country and they pick a topic. And then they really dive into that research and develop solutions to those issues. And then students are then able to present their research at one of our youth institutes across over 23 different US states. And then in Honduras, Kenya, Uganda, Sierra Leone, we're adding additional youth institutes internationally next year, so stay tuned as well. We also have virtual offerings as well. So students write a paper and then they present it out either in person or virtual. And that unlocks a bunch of different opportunities beyond that through the World Food Prize Foundation. And again, our work is really centered in building the skills, equipping young people with the knowledge that is needed to make a meaningful difference in the world. So yeah, please check us out, the World Food Prize Foundation. You can learn more about our programs by looking into Google and searching for our Global Challenge. But Claire, thank you for letting us be here today. Certainly Farmcraft has been a great tool for our students to engage in, and certainly we're excited to continue to promote the new challenges to students as well.
You know what? Can I ask you a question, John? You mentioned they have to write a paper about area and a topic, which definitely aligns really well with Farmcraft. And then they have to do a presentation. For the ones who are participating in this that may be interested in that, their interests kind of go in both directions. So could Minecraft or any sort of virtual space be part of that presentation?
Yeah, so I think there's lots of ways to be creative here, lots of ways to really think about engaging students and partners through Farmcraft and Minecraft here. So yeah, would definitely love to talk through some of those opportunities. And then, I think for students, being able to share out what they've learned from Farmcraft and be able to build on that, the Global Challenge is a really great way to do so, and vice versa. So yeah, let's continue to talk. Let's continue to collaborate. And certainly, I just really love the model that y'all have developed here and being able to really engage students where they're at and then build out some really interesting conversations and learnings here. So.
Oh, I had the opportunity last year to, I don't know if judge is the right word, evaluate some of those presentations. And again, I just am always so impressed with what students come up with. And they would identify in a region that they did somewhere they did not live, a challenge that place was facing around, food security or sometimes different environmental issues or whatever it might be. And their solutions are so creative. And that's what I love about Farmcraft as well, is all these students are starting to think creatively and critically around what are the problems facing us and how do we solve them? Or maybe it's not a problem. What is something that we're really good at? How do we maximize that? So whichever angle they take, whichever perspective they take, to have them just really be creative on that is so great. And that's one of the things I love about Minecraft and Farmcraft, is it brings out this creativity that is sort of sometimes hiding down in there and says, let it be free, show us what you got. So yeah, we're really excited.
Claire, I just wanted to say, like, you know, I think we have a shared impact here, and just really building the confidence of young people to really elevate their ideas and really allow young people to like engage in some of the most meaningful issues before us. So yeah, really excited to continue to promote Farmcraft. Thank you for having me here. And then Carrie, we also have a new youth institute in Georgia. So we'll follow up afterwards to make sure that you have that information. So
absolutely, it's several different pieces of my curriculum. So I also teach AP Environmental Science. So I'm excited to do some more research.
All right. Making all the connections all the time. It's so good. Thank you all so much for joining us, whether it's those of you that are here on the stream right now or those of you who are watching and learning. We can't wait to see your submissions. Go get them, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.